Now to how this all plays in the race for the White House. Just 49 days until the final votes. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton traded sharp attacks all day on terror and national security. ABC's Tom Llamas is in Fort Myers, Florida, where Trump held a fiery rally last night. Good morning, Tom.
George, good morning to you. Donald Trump out with some colorful thoughts about that bombing suspect and how he's being treated right now. But it's his son, Donald Trump Jr., who's making headlines this morning.
Overnight, Donald Trump sharing his theory of why bombing suspect Ahmad Khan Rahami apparently wasn't on any type of watch list.
The guy over the chicken stand brought litigation, a lot of litigation against different people, and I'll bet you that's why he was on no list. You know, he was on no list. They probably didn't want to put him because they didn't want to get sued.
Trump railing against Rahami during a massive rally in Fort Myers, Florida, predicting authorities would be coddling him.
He will be given a fully modern and updated hospital room. And he'll probably even have room service, knowing the way our country is.
The Republican nominee blaming homegrown terror on lax policies and again calling for increased profiling.
I'm saying you're going to have to profile. We're going to have to start profiling.
Hillary Clinton focusing her policy on outreach.
It is crucial that we continue to build up trust between law enforcement and Muslim American communities.
And accusing Trump of motivating ISIS with his words and actions.
We've heard that from former CIA Director Michael Hayden, who made it a very clear point when he said Donald Trump is being used as a recruiting sergeant for the terrorists.
Trump's son, Don Jr., also getting into the debate and drawing some fire for this tweet, which reads, "If I had a bowl of Skittles and I told you 3 would kill you, would you take a handful? That's our Syrian refugee problem." The tweet igniting outrage from people saying Don Jr. shouldn't be comparing Syrian refugees to pieces of candy. A Clinton campaign spokesperson responding, calling it disgusting.
And the Mars Corporation out with their own statement this morning via Twitter. Let's put it up on the screen. Here's the tweet. It reads, "Skittles are candy, refugees are people. It's an inappropriate analogy. We respectfully refrain from further comment as that could be misinterpreted as marking." But, George, this comment and those tweets are blowing up on social media this morning.
They sure are.
George?
A real pattern there. Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Let's bring in John Karl for more on that. So you got those tweets blowing up right there. You saw Donald Trump at the rally, and he and Hillary Clinton diametrically opposed positions on terror, yet they're close in our poll, 48% to 45%.
Yeah, and Republicans always have a big advantage on the issue of terrorism, going back to 9/11. But in this race, it's largely taken away. In our poll, within the margin of error, in some polls, he has a slight advantage, in others, she has a slight advantage. But they could not be more different on this. Hillary Clinton emphasizing sober, steady leadership, and Donald Trump channeling that anger, that raw emotion, that raw anger at terrorism.
And you know why she is doing it? Because you see a big difference on who Americans think can handle international crisis. She has a huge advantage right there.
She has the big advantage on the commander-in-chief test. It's much closer when it's who can respond to the terrorists. She's also carving out a different spot than Barack Obama on this. It was interesting to see her come out before the president to condemn these attacks, to brand them as terrorism before the president. She's trying to find a ground between Donald Trump and Barack Obama.
Some other political stories out there. You saw Chris Christie yesterday. There's that trial on the George Washington Bridge scandal a couple years back, the Bridgegate scandal. Prosecutors now saying he knew about the traffic jams, yet Donald Trump standing by him.
Absolutely. But if you remember during the primaries, George, Donald Trump came out and said, of course Chris Christie knew. He definitely knew. I mean, he was emphatic. So perhaps the person least surprised by this allegation is Donald Trump himself. He's sticking to Christie, and in doing so, he's saying he's sticking to him because Christie has always stood by him.
I mean, meanwhile, maybe a big defection on the Republican side from Donald Trump. But the news is coming from a member of the Kennedy family.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. The two most famous political families in America, the Kennedys and the Bushes. And this was Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, the oldest child of Robert and Ethel Kennedy, visited, there you see her, visited with former President Bush up in Maine. And she says that he said that he's voting for Hillary Clinton. Now, the interesting thing is there's no denial from the Bush family on this. The spokesperson simply says nobody overheard their conversation.
And of course, Jeb Bush has said he's not. Has said he's not voting for Trump, but has not said he's voting for Hillary.
Yeah, exactly.
John Karl, thanks very much. Of course, the debate less than a week away. I'll be anchoring our primetime coverage at 9 Eastern with analysis from our whole political team.